finally, I'll give you my final instruction for today on meditation and enlightenment, making progress towards enlightenment, trying to walk your way to perfection. I give an example like Muhammad Ali or the great boxer Muhammad Ali or Sugar Ray Leonard, Floyd Mayweather, all these great boxers, Marvelous Marvin Hagler, Oscar De La Hoya. So he's from California, he's from East Los Angeles. Brilliant man. All these great boxers. To box, I love boxing. I used to watch it a lot when I was young. But now I restrain myself, but I still watch it as a sport. You understand what boxing is just about, how you have to overcome suffering in life. Now, these guys are practicing, they are sportsmen, they practice this very intensive sport. I need you to understand, Jainism will criticize these things because you say it's supporting of violent acts, but they are actually sports. So it depends on how your perspective, how you come to it. It's not like those people shooting themselves in the war front. This is sports. It's like basketball or football. You kick the ball and it goes to the goal. And you score your goal for people who like to watch soccer. Even football, what they call football, the rugby, the one you do your touchdowns and so on and so forth. These are all sports. The discipline of training is what I'm going for here. You cannot be a sportsman without training. No matter what sports you do, whether you do boxing, whether you do running, whether you do basketball, football, baseball, whatever sports you do, you go to train and train and train. The great Nigerian basketball player who I met in Houston, Texas, some decades back now, about a little over 10 years ago when I was in Houston, Hakeem Olajuwon, I met him. I've even driven around with him in his Mercedes-Benz in Texas. Very nice, good man. He's about a decade older than me. I look at him as elder brother, and we're driving one day in the city of Houston, and he was telling me about basketball. Okay, this good man, very humble. You really need to meet him. And I was so impressed. And he was telling me how he used to play the basketball, how they used to do body movement, the techniques. He has a lot of techniques, what they call the dream shake, how he does all these fantastic, wonderful things. Now, the important thing is that these guys, they practice. When you saw where Hakeem Olajuwon was drilling these guys, great stars like LeBron James, they had a movie out there, he was drilling them, he was teaching them about bread and butter. That's really a point I'd like to hammer home right here. Bread and butter. Okay, the moves they have to make. If you watch the video, it's online, it's on your, just go to your YouTube and check them up. Hakeem Olajuwon, okay, and he was telling them how to do the post moves. You do the post moves, you do your jump shot, you take the ball, you bounce it, you beat the back, the defense, and you put it, you dunk it into the basket. And he was drilling this good man, Dwight Howard. These guys have like hundreds of millions of dollars. They're very wealthy now. But then, a couple decades back, he was drilling these guys. These guys were getting ready to go to the NBA. They were already there, actually. Dwight Howard was already in the NBA when Hakeem Olajuwon was, giving him these tips, fantastic training. Just like LeBron James had just started then, Hakeem Olajuwon was just teaching them post moves, the dream shake, and a couple of teams tried to brush up these guys' fantastic skills already that they already acquired. Hakeem was just helping them as old school, respected elder brother who's already been through the NBA while these guys are coming to the NBA. So they had this great respect for Hakeem. Hakeem has over $200 million. And when I met him in Texas, he was just telling me about all these things. They are full of sports. A sportsman is full of sports. If you're around them, you can't be dull around them. You can't be idle around them. They are so lively. If you get to be around these guys, they are 24 hours. They are so full of life. That's why I love sports. You can't be dead around a sportsman. You can't be lazy around a sportsman. Like these guys who have hundreds of millions of dollars, their days are full of great activity. So I love Hakeem because of activity. He was that kind of person. So he was teaching Dwight Howard, and all these LeBron James, all these great stars who were just, coming to the NBA then. And while he was already, finished from the NBA, already retired, he was teaching them about post moves. and the dream shake. And what I like about the guy, my good brother Hakeem Olajuwon, is that he was telling these folks that this is bread and butter. That's just the point right there. Bread and butter. Watch the video where he teaches Dwight Howard. Okay, well, as soon as Dwight Howard dunked the boy, he said, that's your bread and butter. All day, bro. All day. That's bread and butter. Okay? You need to take Hakeem literally what he said. He was serious. That's your bread and butter all day. That is, you have to practice that thing 1 billion times a day. Now, do you understand how somebody gets $200 million? You understand what a check of $200 million look like? Or a fortune of $200 million? These guys are all sports. Hakeem Olajuwon is the limit of human activities. Like Michael Jordan, like Dwight Howard, like LeBron James. These guys never tire of, say they are hyperactive humans. I love hyperactivity. Human beings should be active. You need to be super active. So these guys I only have words to express. I can't start jumping around, right? My video won't let me do that, okay? But from the words, you can see the life I'm talking about. Should be super active. Should be superbly active. That's what Hakeem is saying. That's your bread and butter, Mr. Howard. Okay, bro? That's your bread and butter. You got to take this ball, move, dunk it. You got to take this ball, again, dunk it. You got to do it again and again, 1,000 times, 2,000, 3,000 times a day for a $1 million check at the end of the day. Because it becomes second nature. It just becomes a part of you. So by the time you're on the NBA floor, remember Muhammad Ali. I love Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali says when it's time to box for $5 million, it's nothing to him. Muhammad Ali plays around in the ring. I have watched most of his movies. I'm going to be sharing a lot of them with you guys later on. Because of the drama of Muhammad Ali. He's such a beautiful man. Muhammad Ali says this is just another day in the gymnasium. Muhammad Ali has practiced so much of his sports that he just can't tell when $5 million is in the purse to be made. $10 million in those days, right? When his world championship comes out, the point I'm making, and I know you guys are pretty intelligent, you've got my point. Muhammad Ali is making the point that when $5 million has been placed and the world judges are there to judge and award these millions of dollars to a champion, to a winner, Muhammad Ali is not at that page. Muhammad Ali does not know the difference between examination and homework because he's done his homework so well. He's done his mathematics so well that when he goes to write the final exam, he says it's just another day in the gymnasium. That's why I love Muhammad Ali so much. You practice and practice and practice and practice and practice so well that on the day of test, it's just another day of practice. So Muhammad Ali fools around in the rings and he wins his fights because he's just exercising himself in the gym. He does so much gym work. He's always in the gym practicing. That's what Muhammad Ali is saying. I practice my skill, I practice my talent so well that now I'm so over-practiced, I can't even tell the difference between God. If there's an examination, it's just another day of practice. Muhammad Ali says it takes a few punches, 2 or 3 rounds, and he's warmed up, and he's ready to take the rest of it. Because it's just another day in the gym. He can fall around, he can throw his punches. You're not really going to do much to him because the guy, it's become second nature. Hakeem Olajuwon, who I met in Texas, took me for a ride in Texas. I was driving around with him in the Mercedes-Benz, and he was telling me similar things. These guys, I love sportsmen because of this. These guys are living the best lives. No wonder they can manage hundreds of millions of dollars. If I manage $1 million in my life, that's large. 1 and 6 zeros. $1 million is big money, right? But these guys have hundreds of millions of dollars. You can understand why. Because their business busies them as soon as their eyes open and they are alive in the day, they are back to business. These guys are so hyper business-like human beings. I need you to understand there are people like that, and that's why they're able to manage fortunes like hundreds of millions of dollars. I want you to be at the page. I want you to understand the talent it takes to be at the level to be able to manage success that great. Massive success. Management of massive success. I'm not just trying to be successful in life, but to be massively successful. Okay? So your definition of success should be massive success. I want to really succeed. That's what Muhammad Ali is describing. Okay? Being intelligent, I know you've been able to sort of understand, at least get the spirit from where I'm speaking from. So these guys are not just talking about walking through life, dragging themselves like dead logs of wood. These are active human beings. They are really living this life. They're really working hard towards success. They're really succeeding. They can manage themselves. They can manage their time management, self-management, success management. If you can manage yourself, you can manage your time, you can manage yourself. If you can manage yourself, you can manage your success. So this is what these guys, they can manage success. They can manage $100 million. Hakim Olajuwon has $200 million, 230 the last time I read it. These guys are on Forbes. $230 million, that's a large amount of money. It's a whole bank. Okay? And it's nothing because they have the skills. They can manage large amounts of fortune. Okay? A word is enough for the wise. The point I'm trying to make here is not to digress into sports, but it's just to use it as an example to set your mind for meditation, so that when you sit quietly to practice meditation, you are able to come to a certain level I need students to come up to. I need to build yourself to be able to manage your time. I need to build yourself to be able to manage yourself. And I need you to build yourself to be able to manage your success. We are all successful beings. When you fail in management, you can't manage your time, you can't manage yourself, then you can't manage success. If you can manage your time, you can manage yourself very well. Of course, you can manage fortune. You can manage $1 million, you can manage $10 million, $100 million. Success, great success, like the folks I've just been talking about. Okay? So now we come back to instructions. How do we get there without doing harm to other people? That's what I'm about to analyze. Okay? This final sutra, which guides you towards success, is called the true monastic. I call it. Okay? Lord Mahavira 2,500 years ago called it the true monk. But I told you monk, same as non, it applies to male and female, which I just call monastic. The true monastic. Okay, the true monk. The true non. The true monastic applies to male and female. Okay, he who adopts the law in the intention to live as a monk should live in company, or none, should live in company with other monks or nuns, upright and free from desires. He should abandon his former connections and not longing for pleasures. He should wander about as an unknown beggar. Then he is a true monk, non-monastic, etc. Don't forget, these are teachings in the heavens. All we have to do is to look at them as standards. They are not laws. It's not like state laws of United States or state laws of Nigeria. You break it, you go to jail. No, that's not, there's no policing of these laws. Okay, these are heavenly teachings of perfection that we aspire for gradually. So you see them as the standards, they are up there, you just spiritually moving slowly towards them. You see them as goals. 42-kilometer marathon race. The gold, the silver, and the bronze, they are at the end of the marathon race while you are at the start of the race. You see how 42 kilometers to go. So that's what this is. These are the gold medals and the silver medals and the bronze medals at the end of a marathon race, while we, the human beings, we are at the beginning, we still have to jog out this 42K to get all the way to the end to pick up the medals. Okay? Very important. So if you understand that, I'll take verse 1 again and quickly run down the scale, run down these verses, and give you the food for thought for your meditation, where you go to sit quietly and contemplate and meditate on these points towards your enlightenment and your self-perfection as you walk through life. 1. He who adopts the law in the intention to live as a monastic, a monk, nun, etc., should live in company with other monks or nuns or monastics, upright and free from desires. He should abandon his former connections and not longing for pleasures. He should wander about as an unknown beggar. Then he or she is a true monk or nun. Free from love, he should live a model of righteousness. He or she should live a model of righteousness. I'm already on the second verse. Abstaining from sins, versed in the sacred law, protecting his or her soul from every wrong, wise, hardy, observing everything. He or she who is attached to nothing is a true monastic, monk or nun. Third verse, ignorant of abuse and injury, A steadfast monk or nun or monastic should be a model of righteousness, always protecting his or her soul from sins, neither rash nor passionate. When he or she endures everything, then he or she is a true monk or nun. Monastic, that is. He or she who is content with lowly beds and lodgings, bears heat and cold, flies and gnats, is neither rash nor passionate, and endures everything, he or she is a true monk or nun, monastic. He or she, again on verse 5, does not expect respectful treatment, nor hospitality, nor reverence, nor indeed praises. He or she controls himself or herself, keeps the vows, practices austerities, discipline, lives together with other monks or nuns, monastics, meditates on his or her soul. This is a true monastic. If he or she does not care for his or her life, or abandons every delusion, if he or she avoids men and women, always practices austerities, the disciplines, and does not betray any curiosity, then he or she is a true monastic. He or she who does not profess and live on divination from cuts and shreds, from sounds on the earth or in the air, from dreams, from diagrams, sticks and properties of buildings, from changes in the body, from the meaning of the cries of animals. He or she is a true monastic monk or nun. Spells, roots, every kind of medical treatment, emetics, purgatives, fumigation, anointing of the eye, and bathing, the patient's lamentation and his consolation. He or she who abstains from all these things is a true monastic. He or she who does not praise or pay attention to the warriors, ogres, princes, brahmanas, bogars, and artists of all sorts, who abstains from this, he or she is a true monastic. He or she who does not, for earthly gain, improve his or her acquaintance with householders, with whom he or she fell in as a monastic, or was in friendly relation before that time, he or she is a true monastic. A negranta is forbidden to take from householders if they do not give it to themselves. Bed, lodging, drink, food, or any dainties and spices. He or she who is not angry at such occasions is a true monastic. I'll take it again. The 11th verse. A negranta is forbidden to take from householders if they do not give it themselves. Okay? Don't take from householders if they do not give it themselves. Bed, lodging, drink, food, or any dainties and spices. He or she who is not angry at such occasions is a true monastic. If a monastic gets any food and drink or dainties and spices and does not feel compassion on a sick fellow monastic in thoughts, words, and deeds, then he is not a true monastic. But if he has his thoughts, words, and acts under strict discipline, that's the rule always, the discipline, then he or she is a true monastic. Dishwater, barley pap, cold sour gruel, water in the barley, water in which barley has been washed. Such loathsome food and drink he or she should not despise, but call at the lowliest houses for alms. Then he or she is a true monastic. dishwater, barley pap, cold sour gruel, water in which barley has been washed, such loathsome food and drink he or she should not despise, but call at the lowliest houses for alms. Then he or she is a true monastic. I hope you're going to meditate, just work on this. It's easy to grasp. Once you work on it, your mind will be able to penetrate the subtleties of these profound words, instructions of profound wisdom. There are many voices on the earth, of gods, of men, and of beasts, dreadful, frightful, and awful noises. If he hears them or she hears them without trembling, then he or she is a true monastic. He or she who understands all religious disputations, who lives together with fellow monks or nuns, who practices self-discipline, who meditates on his or her soul, who is wise, sagely, hardy, and observes everything, who is calm and does not hurt anybody, he or she is a true monk or nun or monastic. He who, not living by any art, without house, without friends, subduing his senses or her senses, free from all ties, sinless, and eating but little, leaves the house and lives single, he or she is a true monastic, monk or nun. These are the teachings of Lord Mahavira I wish to share with you today. I need you to go quietly into your study and practice peaceful, calm, serene meditation to really make progress spiritually towards living the best possible life in this world. Thus I say, Lord Mahavira says, and a word is enough for the wise.